we talk about a country, we always say that if you are going to visit a certain country, you need to learn more about the history of the place you are going to visit. Well, when it comes to Egypt in particular, we have many, many important points to stop at, especially for those who are going to visit Egypt and they are going to enjoy a cultural trip. The most important part is that some of the people, they move into reading, for example, through the internet, moving on to some of the tour guides. But let me tell you that one of the best places to learn more about a country is by reading about museums of this country. Well, in Egypt here, for example, if you want to visit any place, let me say, first of all, you need to stop by some of the museums here in Egypt. Well, of course, in each governorate, we have a museum, and each museum will tell you more about the history and the culture, the ancient culture. Yes, there are museums all over the world, but whenever you will visit any of these museums, you will find some unique or masterpieces, just parts, or talking about portraits or any of these icons. But here in Egypt, you will have thousands of years pieces. And this is the most important part. To learn more about Egypt, definitely, you need to move around museums here. Each museum will tell you about a different era. If you are interested to learn more about Coptic era, or more about the ancient history and culture, learning more about pharaohs of Egypt, well, each museum will be different and unique on its own.
Today, we will talk about Yoya and Toya. Yoya was a powerful ancient Egyptian courtier during the 18th dynasty of Egypt. He was married to Toya, an Egyptian noblewoman associated with the royal family who held high offices in the governmental and religious hierarchies. They are the parents of Queen T, who became the great royal wife of Amenhotep III. The tomb of Yoya and Toya was, until the discovery of Tutankhamun's, one of the most spectacular ever found in the Valley of the Kings, despite Yoya not even being a pharaoh. Although the burial site was robbed in antiquity, many objects not considered worth plundering by the robbers remained. Both the mummies were largely intact and were in an amazing state of preservation. Their faces in particular were relatively undistorted by the process of mummification. And provide an extraordinary insight into the actual appearance of the deceased while alive. Yoya served as a key advisor for Amenhotep III and held posts such as King's Lieutenant and Master of the Horse. His title, Father of the God, possibly referred specifically to his being Amenhotep's father-in-law. In his native town of Akhmin, Yoya was a prophet of Min, the chief god of the area, and served as the deity's superintendent of cattle. When Yoya and Toya died, the royal in-laws made sure they were buried in style in a prime location, the Valley of the Kings, the great royal cemetery of the 18th and 19th dynasties. It was discovered in 1905. The mortal remains of Yoya and Toya are so beautifully preserved. They are now the rock stars of the mummy world. A proper mummification took a long time and cost a lot of money, and in this case, the embalmers seem to have spared no expense. Yoya and Toya's faces are so full of personality they appear to have passed away just recently. The curls of their hair, the arches of their eyebrows, the shape of noses and ears and lips are all intact. The funerary furniture is similarly intriguing. A single burial chamber held a great assembly of stuff, including gilded coffins and face masks, glittering chairs and beds, a complete chariot, ornate limestone vases, inlaid boxes, a wig of human hair, a wig basket of papyrus, multiple pairs of sandals made of leather and woven grass, and also small wooden figures called shaptas that were meant to come alive in the great beyond to work as servants for the deceased couple. Funerary mask formed from plastered and gilded linen was meant to preserve her features for eternity. A linen shroud likely blackened with age was originally stuck to the mask, but has now come away in places to reveal the glimmer of gold. Yoya is a stunning example of ancient Egyptian embalming. He and his wife were probably between 50 and 60 years old at the time of death. Like her husband, Toya was identified by inscriptions on funerary equipment. Hieroglyphs spell out her name and titles, which include Dresser to the King, Chantress of the god Amun, and Lady of the Harem of the god Men. Yoya and Toya were Egyptian nobles whose name became famous again at the beginning of the 20th century. When their final home was discovered, researchers could not believe their eyes. That event took place almost 2 decades before Carter discovered the tomb of their grandson, and in those times it was perhaps the greatest golden treasure of Egypt. The burial chamber isn't anything unusual. It is a typical chamber from the 18th dynasty. However, something unique about this tomb is the artifacts it held. The overwhelming treasures discovered inside the tomb contained everything that Egyptologists would dream of. First of all, there were the very well-preserved mummies of Yoya and Toya. Until now, they are some of the best preserved remains discovered in Egypt. Apart from the mummies, archaeologists discovered anthropoid coffins, a box coffin, mummy bands, headpieces, amulets, scarabs, and a canopy or box coffin, and also canopic chests, in addition to the canopic jars, Osiris beds, the Shabtus and the Shabti boxes, and also there were the magical statues, papyri, model coffins, and also the chariots. There were also the golden chairs, the sandals, the pottery and stone vessels, jars with embalming products, meat boxes, remains of plants, jewelry, and also small seals and many other goods. One of the most impressive of the artifacts discovered in the tomb was a complete and well-preserved chariot. It is believed that it may have been the best preserved chariot in the world. It was not decorated, but it is beautiful in its simplicity. With the spirals and rosettes in gilded plaster, it is a striking artifact. Moreover, the jewelry boxes decorated with ivory, faience and ebony were inscribed with golden letters. It is interesting to note that some of the artifacts carry the names of Amenhotep III and his wife Tea. It seems that Yoya and Toya were not only the queen's parents, but also very important people in the court. The chairs discovered in the tomb are as impressive as the ones found in Tutankhamun's tomb. They are so magnificent.
Well, that was all for today. Thank you all for joining us. Next time we'll be back and we will tell you more about the important sites where you can enjoy your vacation. We always say Egypt has it all. Yes, because simply, even if you are going to visit a historical site or a cultural site, still you have the chance to visit many different places for entertainment. That was all for now. Thanks for joining us, and until we meet again, bye.